Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amulia Eftita. I will be acting as judge and moderator of this debate. I will allow the first speaker of supporting team, Pony Beatrix, to start the debate.
Poni,
Bentar, kamera aku masih nyalakan ini. Okay, thank you, Amura. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Pony Beatrix. I'm the leader of Prime Minister by Super Team. Related to what has been the motion discussion today about this house belief that is this the best choice that the national exam replaced with a minimum competency assessment and character survey. To start with, Minister of Education and Culture Nadiem Makarim explained the technical implementation of the minimum competency assessment and character survey used as a substitute for the national exam. According to Nadiem, competency assessment will not be carried out right before student graduates from school. The implementation of the end of the exam competency assessment will be carried out by students who are the middle of the school levels. For example, grade 4, grade 8, or grade 11, said Nadim when describes it the free learning. Would you agree if the national examination was replaced with a competency assessment and character survey? Yeah, I agree. The national examination looks outdated and needs to be updated because the national exam material tends to focus on memorizing rather than reasoning and focuses students on achieving credits rather than education itself. It's time to replace the national examination system with a system that provides a more approach to the character, competency, and reasoning abilities of students, namely competency assessment and character survey. The minimum competency assessment consists of two material that develop students' cognitive skill, namely literacy and numeracy. With literacy, students are directed to be able to analyze, understand, and think critical about of reading. In my opinion, this literacy ability is very important in an age filled with digital information. People are required to be able to distinguish which information is truly real and which information is truly wrong. Moreover, saying Indonesians' literacy skill and still far behind compared to other countries makes this literacy material very important for students. To read things that can build logic and cognition, but they tend to be catchy and activities in social media it is not surprising why Indonesians are easily carried away by fake news and hoax. In its exposition. Of course, this breakdown must still be understood by various groups including education staff, parents, and students, and caution is also needed so that this system can run successfully. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Pony. Now I will allow the first speaker of opposition team, Sulung Iqbal Karisma, to continue the debate.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sulaiman Karisma. I'll be acting as the first speaker of the opposition team. As we already know, education is crucial. Without it, we as modern humans will be limited to majority of important things. Nowadays, education are considered to be part of social life in everywhere, even in the countryside. In this debate, this House do not believe or disagree that it is the best choice that the national exam replaced with minimum competency assessment and character survey. We would like to disagree with the supporting team's statement that national exam should be replaced with minimum competency assessment and character survey. We believe national exam determine quality of people. So trying to make it even more simple would be a mistake because it could basically become loose and allow some people who are not ready to pass. The result will be below average human resources. National exam shouldn't be taken lightly since the people who is about to graduate from high school will proceed here. And when they pass, the world will be counting on them, to working with them, and to be built by them. And a national exam is one way to select those who is ready and experienced for such task. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sulung. Next is the turn for the second speaker of supporting team, Muhammad Zaidul Arif.
Ada kamera gue enggak.
Zai? Kalau gangguan, nggak usah dipaksakan, kau ngomongnya langsung.
Alright, and my name is Muhammad Zaidul Arif, and I'm from second speaker, and I'm from a support team, and I disagree to Mr. Sulong because from Goldi Faris Darmawan, a researcher at Smeru, said Minister Nadim, we need to focus toward the literature and numeracy because in Indonesian, if we still using a national exam but not change it to a minimum assignment, the Indonesian people or person or student cannot understand, know about literacy and numeracy. And why we should do it? Because the test item would be probably have to be based on either literacy or numeracy as a student. Core completion, but this could be designed to cover a variety of a subject, including the social science, to say. And he suggested the test could, for instance, use a question with economic attempts or give a problem aimed at the testing financial literacy. And from PISA tests, which are uh, centered on math, science, and reading, were critical in 2040 by a condition of more than 2,000 academics from 40 countries. They say the test can dangerously narrow our collective imagination, reading what education include and count to be about. Although Goldie was also concerned assessment like this only focus on the result of the student learning and not on things that happen inside the classroom, which he considered the truth of a black box, the black box of the education. And I think that's all. So thank you very much.
Alright, thank you Zaidul Arif. Next, I will allow second speaker of opposition team, Alessandro Gilbert Toban.
Okay, my name is Alessandro Gibertoban. I'm from opposition team. Memorizing of materials does not show long-term understanding of subject material. Students will not be able to apply what they have learned in school to real-life learning situations if they are trained to only use their short-term memory skills. Long-term memory skills need to be developed further through summative assessment techniques that a regular classroom teacher can apply more accurately to a learner profile than a national exam. The question arises, do you teach students only subject matter related to the test and leave out other learning material that may be useful in providing a more rounded education to young learners? Another factor to consider is that national exam does not take into consideration that not all students learn in different ways. According to Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, there are different types of learners, such as bodily, kinesthetic, or spatial learners. Also, the national exams does not make educational accommodations for special needs students who have mild to moderate cognitive or physical impairments such as students with attention deficit disorders, dyslexia, or dysgraphia. In conclusion, the notion of continuing with a national exam should be reviewed. The reason for such action, as outlined in this paper, is students' understanding towards the lesson, students' physical and mental condition when doing the national exam, and the security of the national exam question sheets. With these issues alone, it shows concerns about why the national exam should be reconsidered or even banned. Thank you.
Thank you, Gilbert. Now I will allow the third speaker of supporting team, please Randy Agil, to continue.
My name is Riyandi Agil Cahyadi. I'm student at IKPGRI Pontianak. We from the affirmation team strongly agree with the government's decision regarding the national exam to be replaced by a minimum competency assessment and character survey. The change in the national exam policy, which was replaced by an assessment, was carried out based on the result of surveys and discussion with various stakeholders in the education sector, including teachers, students, and parents. According to the Minister of Education and Culture, national exam material is too dense so that the focus of students tends to memorize the material and not on learning competency. This creates a stressful burden on students, teachers, and parents because the national exam is actually an indicator of student learning success as individuals. Thank you.
Thank you, Agil. Next, the third speaker of opposition team. Please, Mikhail Dede, to continue.
All right. Thank you for this time. My name is Miguel Dede. I am a third speaker from opposition team. We would like to disagree with that argument because national exam have much benefit for us. According to Miller, 2009, the national exam in the form of mandated examination has several benefits, namely the result of the exam can be used by educational policymakers to detect their weakness and as a tool for making change in the field of education, provides information about the current condition and progress of students as well as the quality of the school, providing accountable test results in order to motivate teachers and students to do better. If national exam delayed and replaced with minimum competency assessment and character survey, the government cannot make it as material for future educational evaluation. Every year, the national exam has a different mechanism, and this is one of the many benefits of the national exam, namely as a benchmark for the future education. National exam is a benchmark for assessing human quality accurately. Okay, that's my argument, and thank you.
All right, thank you, Dede. Next will be the fourth speaker of supportive team, John Nehemiah.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is John Nehemiah. Well, here I will include my argument from supportive team. We agree that the national examination will be changed to minimum competency assessment and character survey starting. The minimum competency assessment is a truly minimum competency in which we can score and regain based of minimum competence. What is the material? The material is only two cognitive parts. One is literacy and the second is numeracy. Literacy is not just the ability to read, but also the ability to analysis of reading and the ability to understand the concept behind the reading. Meanwhile, numeration is the ability to analysis using number. He emphasized that literacy and numeracy are not subject of language or mathematics, but the ability of a student to use this concept to analyze a material. These are two things that will simply competence assessment that will be carried out starting from 2021. Not based on subject again, not based on memory of the material content, This is based on the minimum competency of the basic competence needed by students to be able to learn whatever the material is. This is the minimum competence that students need to be able to learn any subject. We don't know whatever the principles are truly felt by students in Indonesia. We will ask about survey to find out about the school ecosystem. How how is the implementation of mutual comparison? Is the level of tolerance healthy and good in the school? Is it well-being or what is it? The child happiness is well established. Was there any bullying that happened to the student at the school? The survey will be a benchmark to able to provide feedback to school to make change that will create happier student and strong potential principal in the school environment. Uh, The discussion to change the format of the national account was based on survey and discussion with parents, students, teachers, and school principals. As a result, the national account material was considered too dense so that the focus was on teaching and memorizing the material, not on subject competence. The issue is that it's a burden of stress for countless students, teachers, and parents because actually this turns into indicator of student success as individuals, whereas the meaning of the national standard ECOM is to ask the education system, namely the school and its geography and the national population system. Other than that, the national income only assession one expert, generally cognitive, not yet touching the character of student in a more holistic manner. Therefore, education to change the normal of the national income into a minimum competency assessment and character survey. Students will continue to take the national exam as usually. The national examination will be carried out in accordance with the previous year. So, for many parents who have interest to their children to learn to get the best score at the UN. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John. Next will be the fourth speaker of opposition team, Fikri Ariandi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fikri Ariandi. I will be acting as the opposition whip of the opposition team. As we already know, education is crucial. Without it, we as modern humans, there are four benefits of national exam. Namely, number one, the result of the exam can be used by educational policy makers to detect their weaknesses. Number two, as a tool for making change in the field of education. Number three, provides information about the current condition and progress of students as well as the quality of the school. Number four, providing accountable test result in order to motivate teachers and students to do better. If national exam delayed, the government cannot make it as material for future educational evaluation. That's all from me. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alright, so I think the best speaker at this debate is Sulung Iqbal Karisma, and the best group at this debate is government group. Finally, we come to the of the debate. I would like to say thank you for all the better speech about the topic. Good afternoon all, depend on the time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Udah kau matikan rekaman